Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for choosing our show. Now, the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has bounced back into the political arena after taking a very long sabbatical leave. Remember, after the 2022 general election, Uhuru became a victim of harsh treatment from this current regime. Anytime people went to the street, they were saying Uhuru was responsible. Now, Uhuru has come back with a big bang, and it is reported that yesterday he held an urgent National Executive Committee meeting of the Jubilee Party at the party headquarters. This was virtual. This meeting comes against a backdrop of many things. Just the other day, David Muradhi, who is the deputy party leader, had suggested that they are ready to support Raila Amolo Odinga once again. Sounds like a joke, doesn't it? And again, William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta met in State House because we saw pictures that were going viral of William Ruto taking Uhuru Kenyatta around the newly refurbished State House. This was also happening against the backdrop of Rigath's assertion that Uhuru Kenyatta is the real kingpin of Mount Kenya. Now, the attendees of this meeting have remained silent and they've kept mum about what was discussed. It is reported that some say they touched on having a Jubilee presidential flag bearer or candidate in 2027, but others refute this. Now, immediately after that meeting, that is believed was just to prepare for another bigger meeting, it is reported that Uhuru Kenyatta has called for a special national delegates convention, the NDC. And Uhuru Kenyatta has immediately given a 21-day notice for this special meeting that will be held at Jockey Club, Nairobi. So this meeting that took place yesterday, in my opinion, was to prepare for this National Delegates Convention meeting. Now, it is said that the agenda will be three. One, they will receive reports from the National Executive Committee. What has happened ever since they had their last meeting, the campaigns, the recruitments, defections, what have they achieved? So they will receive that report from the National Executive Committee. They will review and formulate policies that will help run their party. You know, for a party to be in existence for some times, you have to review policies. You know the loopholes. For example, we know that some party members can take advantage of some loophole and they are working with another competitor. And we are also being told that they will consider and approve any other matter that will come across. After receiving the report from the National Executive Committee, they will formulate and review policies, and then if there is any matter that will be arising, it will be dealt with there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have been told. But the meeting that took place yesterday and the planned meeting that is going to take place, the NDC meeting, are very significant, politically speaking. And I want us to try and look at Uhuru's new move, because he has been outside the political arena for some time. What do you think has informed the decision by Uhuru Kenyatta to come back and he is in charge of the party? Number one, I believe Uhuru wants to show political direction because in 2027, Uhuru is going to have a say in the next election. I can assure you. Very many people still look up to Uhuru Kenyatta, especially in Mount Kenya. Today, I still ask, who is the undisputed Mount Kenya kingpin? I believe from where I sit that that person is none other than Wamunyoro himself, Rigathi. But despite the fact that Wamunyoro controls massive following from Mount Kenya, there are people who still look up to Uhuru Kenyatta. And Uhuru wants to come up and show them that I'm still there, because there are people who will still ask Uhuru, what next? So he wants to provide this political direction. Ever since the court ruled that Uhuru is the genuine owner of the party. Remember how Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega tried this mischief, and I believe they were being sponsored by Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua himself. The courts finally ruled in favor of Uhuru, and his party members and the officials were given the mandate to run the party. And I believe that ever since that ruling, they've never held any meeting. And so Uhuru wants to show them that he's still in charge of the party. Apart from just showing the direction in Mount Kenya, Uhuru will also be showing direction within the party, because there are a lot of speculations. Are they joining William Ruto? Are they joining Raila? Because when Uhuru went to State House, there were speculations that they are planning ahead of 2027. And then Murathe comes here with they are ready to support Raila. So people want to know. And I think he wants to prepare himself as a father who is ready to lead the family. I want to believe that they are meeting because of the upcoming by-elections. By-elections are always the yardstick to the strength of the party. Rigathi Gachagua has a new party, DCP, and that is where Rigathi is going to show his political might. Uhuru Kenyatta does just want to sit there. They are going to consider whether they can sponsor candidates within areas that they believe are friendly to them. And if there is one very big competitor, that is the DCP. And that is going to be the bone of contention between the Jubilee and the DCP. The bone of contention between Fred Matiang'i and Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi has made it clear that Fred must source for support from Kisii. Then they sit on the table. He brings the number that he has consolidated, because Gachagua believes he's going to negotiate with the votes from Mount Kenya. So Uhuru Kenyatta is looking at how he's going to wrestle power from the DCP, because they are really going to compete for the seats in Mount Kenya. So this by-election calls for a meeting to consider. They're going to invite those who want to contest. Loyalty to the party is very paramount, who to be given tickets. And I think it is also about looking for a presidential candidate. In that meeting, they will reaffirm whether Fred Matiang'i is still their flag bearer, because there's uncertainty in it. That is where they will tell us who their flag bearer is, if they are working with the William Ruto now up to 2027, or now beyond 2027, or they have nothing to do with Uhuru Kenyatta, to do with William Ruto. We will know from that meeting. Who are they supporting? Are they going alone? So several things are going to be discussed there. But the bottom line is Uhuru Kenyatta has announced his presence and his comeback. And I know there are people who are going to be very happy. Remember sometimes back when he was still being mistreated? Remember how, I think for 2 years, he has really celebrated his birthday, and he got massive support from Mount Kenya people, including the local radio stations like Kameme. They used to call him and celebrate with him. So that direction is one that we are looking at. But I know from the corners of Mount Kenya, they are saying if you attempt to come out with the resolution that you are supporting Kasongo, we are done with you. I remember this was the message when people like Kabogo and Mutai Kagwe were appointed into the cabinet, and there were rumors that it was Uhuru Kenyatta who had given them to William Ruto so that they could work together. And the people of Mount Kenya said, we are not boarding. So if they come out with that resolution, it is a gone case. The people are not boarding. Just the same way they are telling Raila, if you decide that you are going to support William Ruto, we are not boarding. So ladies and gentlemen, that secret meeting that was held, I think people like Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega have their ears out because the resolution can come out that they are not part and parcel of the Jubilee party. Why do you think this meeting was held? And then there is another one that has been planned. Do you think there is something massive coming out of it, or it's normal that parties hold their meetings? Kindly share with me on the comment section.